What's going on, guys? Just here back to my channel. Tonight we'll be doing a review for Aew Dynamite. So let's get into it then. American with first match with AEW American Championship match. Eliminator MJF versus MJF, who's a champion, versus Kyle Fletcher. What feels like the 10th week in a row or so at this point. The show starts with a cold open live shot inside the host venue as MJF's theme hits. The AEW American Champion heads down to the ring for his latest title defense. An enormous American flag drops down behind him. Don Cal sells in on special guest commentary as a member of his Don Cal's family. Kyle Fletcher emerges next as a challenger for this opening title. As soon as the bell sounds, Fletcher goes after MJF, but MJF exits the ring and grabs the mic, and he tells Fletcher he starts this match locking up with him like a man, or he's taking his belt and leaving this Pope dunk town. Damn. Fletcher obliges and nearly pins MJF with a sneaky quick roll up. Moments later, he gets a headlock takedown into another close 2 count. Fletcher continues to dominate the action, frustrating MJF, who slides out of the ring to avoid the action again. Fletcher goes for a dive, but MJF slides in and blasts him with a big shot that shifts the momentum in his favor. We see Fletcher reverse an MJF move into a near tombstone piledriver. MJF escapes and goes to work on the arm of Fletcher. He continues to focus his attack on the weakened limb from that point forward, stomping on it, yanking on it, and slapping one arm submissions on that side. MJF hits a gut wrench powerbomb for a close 2 count. MJF sets up kangaroo kick, but Fletcher sees it coming and counters with a big shot of his own, which buys him some much needed time to recover. Fletcher hits a fancy sit down side slam for a 2 count as momentum shifts back into his favor and the Winston-Salem crowd comes alive. Fletcher hits a big high kick that knocks MJF from the apron to the floor. Fletcher fires up and hits a big tope suicidal, sending MJF crashing into the barricade back in the ring. He heads to the top rope, but MJF sees it coming and rolls out to the floor. Fletcher heads out to the apron and blasts MJF with a big kick before climbing to the top again. He leads off with a big moonsault to the floor on MJF, which only connects partially back into the ring. Fletcher heads to the top rope again, and once more we see MJF roll out to the floor. Fletcher heads out after him and blasts him with the rapid fire punches as he slumps into the barricade. Fletcher backs up and charges at MJF, who takes a step forward and toe holds Fletcher face first into the top of the barricade. MJF takes a fan's hat off and throws it away. He charges at Fletcher, who trips him up and sends him over the barricade and into the crowd. He sets a steel chair up, backs up, runs for it, and leaps off of it. Sabu style, leaping in midair over the barricade and crashing into MJF in the front row with authority. A loud AEW chants break out as Fletcher dumps MJF back over the barricade. And onto the floor. He rolls him into the ring and heads to the top rope yet again. He leaps off with a picture-perfect flying elbow smash for super close 2 count. MJF goes back to work on the softened up shoulder / arm of Fletcher. Fletcher fights back and looks for a tombstone pile driver again. MJF avoids it, rolling through into a pinfall attempt for a 2 count. He tries it again, but this time MJF connects with the Alabama Slam. He gets a hammer lock on Fletcher and uses it for a hammerlock DDT. He goes for the cover, but Fletcher kicks out. Fans break out in a loud "This is awesome" chant as MJF taunts Fletcher foot, smacking him like Razor Ramon in his WWE prime as he tries to get him off the mat. MJF calls Fletcher a wannabe Will Ospreay and then spits in his face. Fletcher smacks MJF back and then windmill pounds the crap out of him until MJF simply thumbs him in the eye. MJF comes off the ropes but walks into a huge clothesline from Fletcher. That turns him inside out. Excalibur points out that we're halfway to the 30-minute time limit for this AEW American Championship match. Fletcher goes for a move, but MJF immediately counters into his salt of the earth arm lock. Fletcher counters into a pin attempt, but MJF kicks out. Fletcher looks for a slow muscle brainbuster off the top, but MJF bites his way free. MJF turns Fletcher upside down for a top rope tombstone piledriver, but Fletcher escapes. Fletcher finally hits his tombstone power driver, but only gets two after MJF kicks out. We see Don Callis drop his headset and head down the ramp. He hops on the ring apron and distracts the referee. He slides a screwdriver into Fletcher. Fletcher picks it up, but decides again using it. MJF low blows him and then hits a kangaroo kick and a brainbuster for the win. So winner is still AEW American Champion MJF. Alright, so Will Ospreay goes after. Alright, so backstage we see Will Ospreay is locked in a locker room. He shoulder slams his way through the door, and which we see blocked by a bunch of crates. He runs out and heads towards the entrance. Back in the ring, we see MJF lays out the referee and then puts on the Dynamite ring to knock out Fletcher. Alright, Fletcher is shown bleeding on the mat as MJF gloats. He gets down on top of Fletcher and continues to pound on his bloody dome. He pulls him up by his hair and yells into the camera that this blood is on Will Ospreay's hands. MJF sets Fletcher up for the Tiger Driver 91, but Will Ospreay hits to the ring and chases him off. Ospreay yells for doctors and ringside physicians to come check on Fletcher. Don Callis is in the ring looking nervous, as well as a medical crew checks on him. Callis asks Ospreay where he was. We see Ospreay with Fletcher's blood all over his white shirt. Alright, next match coming up, the Glamour Mariah May versus Viva Van. After this wraps up, we head to a video package for Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett with Ricky the Giant Steamboat. Later tonight, once it wraps up, the Glamour Mariah May comes out with the high heel she used to bloody Thomas Tony Storm in the hand. She heads to a ring for our second match of the evening. Already in the ring is her scheduled opponent, Viva Van. The bell sounds and we're fresh off running this one. Van charges right at May, who blasts her with a headbutt on the way in. She follows that up with a release German suplex, suplex before unloading on her with strikes as she is slumped over in the corner of the ring. May heads to the top rope and leaves out with a missile dropkick. Moments later, Mariah May puts an emphatic end to this one for the victory. After the match, the women scorned version of Tony Storm hits and the ring hits the ring, and the two have a wild brawl that is broken up by a ton of officials and security guards. So winner, the Glamour Mariah May. Alright, backstage, we see a weird goth version of a $1 Million Man hit DiBiase senior promo video from Darby Allin talking about how everything has a price. The question is, how much are you willing to pay? We see footage of Jack Perry as he saying this. Once this wraps up, we should get into another commercial break. Return, we see Darby backstage talking directly into the camera about not burning Jack Perry at Blood and Guts because then he have every excuse not to show up at all. And he says he's the TNT champion, but he can't remember the last time he was on TNT. Alright, next match is the Bad Apple Brian Keith versus the wrestler Kazori Shibata. It's time for our next match of the evening. We return inside the host venue for tonight, where we hear the familiar sounds of the theme song for the Bad Apple. Brian Keith, the former bounty hunter turned learning tree prodigy, heads to the ring. After he sells in the ring, we hear the familiar sounds of Chris Jericho's learning tree theme. And how he comes with Big Bill. They head over to join the gang on special guest commentary for this one. Hi guys. Taz is away from the dads due to Jericho being there for this match. Alright. The wrestler Kazori Shibata's theme hits next. Out comes the Japanese legend as the opponent for the Learning Tree disciple. The bell sounds official overrunning this one after a strong start from Shibata in the ring. A crack about Dave Meltzer, 4-star rating from Jericho on commentary. We see the action spilled out to the floor. Out on the floor, Keith takes over and starts focusing his attack on the arm of Shibata. As he continues to do so, we shoot gears into a mid-match commercial break. As the action continues, we return. We see Shibata selling his arm, but trading chops back and forth from Keith. Shibata hits a big trip slam and then puts on the claw before switching to an armbar for the tap out victory. As soon as the match ends, Jericho and Bill hit the ring and join Keith in a 3-on-1 post-match attack. They hold Shibata for Jericho to blast him with the FTW title. The lights go out before he can, and we hear the mirror sounds of Hook's theme song as the sounds of Action Bronson fill the host venue for tonight's show. The cold-hearted, handsome devil sprints to the ring and cleans house of the luring trio. So winner is Kishori Shibata. Alright, the commemoration face travel audio for this match. Alright, as Kara points out that after losing last week, the conglomeration were set for a trios rematch again against Roger Strong, Rouge, and the Beast Mortals, but due to travel issues, the team wasn't able to make it. Orange Cassidy did, however, and tells Renee Paquette he's got a couple of local boys to fill in. All right, we have a video thing with Jim Ross and sits down with AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. On that note, we see a sit-down interview with AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland being set up for a segment coming up. We then shift gears into a quick commercial break. When we return, we see Renee Paquette backstage with Heyman Page. He yells in her face as she drops her head down to avoid cowboy shitty breath or potential spit blowback as he talks about justice being delayed. He vows he will get what he wants. From there, as Cowboy Company set up, Jim Ross sit down discussion with Swerve. Good old JR is looking rough these days, folks, but he's still the man. Alright, that's what it says on here. He talks to Swerve about whether or not he can beat Brian Danielson. Swerve says not only can he, but he will. Danielson's legacy is in his hands. Alright, next match is Orange Cassidy and FTR versus Roger Strong, Rouge, and the Beast Mortals. Back inside the arena, we hear the familiar sounds of the entrance tune of AEW's all-time wins leader as the freshly squeezed on himself. Orange Cassidy heads to the ring, filling in for Mark Briscoe and Kyle Wright are the FTR duo of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Theme for their opponents hit, and out comes the three-man make shift team of Roderick Strong, Rouge, and the Beast Mortals and the Bell Sounds. Now off we go, kicking things off for the respective teams are Rouge and Harwood. Rouge chomps the hell out of Dax in the corner and tags out. Come on. Beast Mortals gets in some shots and tags in Strong. Harwood takes over on Strong and tags in Wheeler, who picks up where he left off, taking it to the Undisputed Kingdom member. All six and up in the ring, where we see Cassidy and FTR knock them out to the floor. All three do Cassidy's hands in the pockets routine as we shift gears into a mid-match commercial break. When we return, we see the action still in progress. After a few more minutes of action, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett get involved at ringside as we head to another break. This time, when we return, we see a bunch of high spots leading to the finish, which sees Cassidy land an orange punch on Rouge, who doesn't even go down. FTR double team him, but he beats them both as well. Cassidy helps FTR with an orange punch into a shatter machine from Harwood and Wheeler for the win. So winners are Orange Cassidy and FTR. Alright, after the match, the theme for the acclaimed hit out comes Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Caster tries rapping as usual, but his microphone isn't working. Dax Harwood says it sounds like not only FTR and the fans, but the microphones don't want to hear him talk tonight either. He says he may not be as slick as Caster on the mic, so he tells them to just fight through the wall of security guards between them and brawl. They do exactly that. Security essentially holds them back. After a little brief scuffle, Wheeler ends up with one of their hats, which Cassidy takes Jake Paul style gotcha hat and puts on. Alright. Backstage, we see the Patriarchy Christian Cage reveals it. It will be the Bang Bang Gang versus the House of Black will take place on AEW Collision this week to determine the number one contenders of the AEW Trios Champions. The Patriarchy Christian Cage will be the special guest referee for the match. We head to another break. Alright, next match is 2-on-1 handicap match. The Brick House Camille versus Jasmine Hale and Clara Carter. When we return from the break, we hear the familiar sounds of Mercedes Monet's theme song. Out comes the CEO company, the TBS and NJPW Strong Women's Champion to the ring is the lady who will be in 2-on-1 handicap action in our next match of the evening. The Brick House Camille are in the ring. Are in the ring are two opponents, a team of Jasmine Hale and hope I said that last name correctly. And Clara Carter. The bell sounds, and as Monet sails in the ring at ringside, Camille immediately begins ragdolling the two all over the place. She gets a torture rag bomb to take one of her opponents out. She comes out. Out she hits with the other with an averted powerbomb. She covers them both for the squash match win. Once the match wraps up, Monet gets on the mic and introduces Camille as her friend. She talks trash about Britt Baker. Tony Schiavone comes out and says Tony Khan has lifted the suspicion of Baker, who is live via satellite. Baker talks about how Monet is known to take her ball and go home when things don't go her way, referencing she and Naomi walking out of WWE as tag team champs back in the day. Damn, that's fucked up. But that's true though. So winner is the Brickhouse Camille. All right, main event time coming up. I think goes match Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett. Excuse me, I'm sorry guys. Main event time when return is announced that blah blah blah. Okay, they're announcing the next the matches. Alright, shit. Alright, the W Hall of Fame legend, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion merges and joins the gang on special guest commentary, which the Giant Steamboat starts his entrance first. Alright, the theme for Bryan Danielson hits. Out comes a smiling American Dragon as he heads down the ramp. He is ambushed and attacked from behind Jeff Jarrett, who blasts a guitar over his head. He explodes into 1,000 small toothpicks and splinters. They continue to brawl as Jay Lethal and Karen Jarrett run out behind them. The two fight over the barricade and deep into the crowd, going several levels into the fans as they trade shots while Steamboat banters with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone and Taz on the call. As they continue to brawl through the crowd, they head back into a concourse where Jarrett slams a giant plastic trash can off the dome of the Blackpool Combat Club member. Danielson fights back and hits a bunch of yes kicks in front of a big crowd of fans, buying popcorn that I didn't expect to be this close to the action. Alright, Jarrett slams Danielson on the concrete as a holy shit chant breaks out from said popcorn buyers. As the fight continues back there, we shoot gears into a mid-match commercial break. When we return, we see the brawl has found its way back at ringside, where still a chair gets involved. Danielson is down, clutching his knee in pain as referee Aubrey Edwards checks on him. Back in the ring, Jarrett proceeds to dominate the offense. He heads to the top rope, but Danielson stops him with a chair shot. He climbs up after him for a spiral suplex off the top. He does a sit-up to get back to the top rope as yes chants break out from the Winston-Salem crowd. The American Dragon lands a picture-perfect missile dropkick, listening where loud "This is awesome" chant as he closes in on Jarrett with repeated yes kicks. Jarrett ducks the last one and counters into a forward-laid log. Danielson leans back and grabs a steel chair that was still in the ring and bashes Jarrett with it to free himself. Alright, Jarrett hits the stroke to Danielson on the chair, but Danielson kicks out of the subsequent pin attempt. Jarrett steps through for another submission attempt. This time at sharpshooter, he turns it over and cracks over as we hit the 10 o'clock. Well, here it was at 9 o'clock. It looks like we're going long again this week, folks. Well, yeah, very shocker. Danielson counters into a label lock. Jarrett escapes. Danielson hits a chair shot moments later for the win. After the match, Wheeler Yuta runs down to check on Danielson, while Sky and Karen do the same to check on Jarrett, who is bleeding from his ear and possibly chin. Steamboat also checks on both guys and congratulates them both. Steamboat raises both guys' hands. Danielson and Jarrett shake hands and hug Swerve Strickland's team. Swerve Strickland's team then hits to break up the love fest. Out comes Prince Nana, doing his goofy ass but always entertaining dance as the AEW World Champion emerges behind him with a microphone in hand. Come on. Swerve says the fans are lucky to get to see the three generations of legends of TBS: Ricky Steamboat, Jarrett, and now Swerve Strickland. He says they all been world champions. He tells Danielson the only thing Standing between himself and the AEW World Championship is Swerve Strickland. Strickland calls Danielson one of the goats and says that's what is going to make his win at All In that much sweeter. He promises Danielson he won't hesitate to land that kill shot at Wembley Stadium. He congratulates him on a hell of a match. He asks how he's feeling. Back sore, losing feeling in your fingers. He says, if Jeff Jarrett can do that to you, imagine what Swerve is going to do. Swerve says next week in Norfolk, he'll have a tune-up of his own against Wheeler Yuta. He wants Danielson in front row for it. That's how this week's show goes on the air and stuff. So, yeah. So, winner is Bryan Danielson. Good show tonight. Good match. All that stuff. So, some good matches. All that stuff. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, pretty good show. I mean, you know, how AEW is right now. Like, where WWE is doing much more better than AEW right now. So, yeah. Anyways, that was the first video. Hope you like it, or not, whatever. Leave a comment. Hit subscribe, hit that bell button, leave a comment and stuff. Or you guys don't leave a comment. I don't care what you guys do. I don't know. But anyways, that was it, and I see you guys in the next video. Laters.